guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video, and the playoffs are upon us. I'm joined by George. How you doing?
Yes mate, good. I'm excited for this video.
Yeah, me too. It should be interesting. I mean, we've got some interesting playoff games to go through. We'll start with the Championship, then we'll do League 1, then we'll do League 2. If you're new to the channel, guys, make sure to leave a like, subscribe as well, and let's get into this. So we'll start with Monday's fixtures, George. We have Bournemouth versus Brentford. Now, Brentford, I believe, did the double over them in the Championship season, and obviously they finished third, Bournemouth finished sixth. I think Bournemouth finished losing their last 3 games, but up until that, they'd won about 7 in a row, so this is really hard to predict. I think both teams are very good, and I feel like the winner of this might be the favourite in the final as well. It's obviously just the first leg. What can I see happening? I'm going to go for a draw. I think it's going to be Bournemouth 1, Brentford 1.
Yeah, I said at the start of the season I think Brentford are going to win the playoffs. I don't know why. I didn't feel that they would get automatics, but I felt that they was going to win the playoffs. I'm going to have to stick with that. I think their form has kind of dropped off in recent weeks, hasn't it? Yeah. Bournemouth, they did have that very good spell when it seemed like they was winning game after game, and they finally secured their playoff position. So yeah, I think realistically Brentford are going to try and hold out for a draw and then take them back to their own place and then beat them convincingly. So yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. 1-1, that's a fair result, I would say. 1-1, and obviously it'd leave it delicately balanced going into that second leg. Yeah. Now, we've got the other game in the Championship, Barnsley versus Swansea. This one's obviously at Oakwell. Barnsley finished 5th, Swansea finished 4th. Everyone's excited about this game. I'll be doing a live stream for it, by the way, guys, so make sure to join that. I think it's just very exciting having Barnsley in the playoffs. I think you've obviously got your Swanseas, your Bournemouths, your Brentfords, the usual suspects you'd imagine. But Barnsley, they're kind of like the people's champions, aren't they? Underdogs, aren't they?
Exactly, they're underdogs. They're going to be going in there, and I feel like people are kind of backing them to get into the Premier League. I mean, Barnsley haven't been in the Premier League since the 1997-98 season, so that's a long time ago. Obviously, Swansea City, they've been in the Premier League not that long ago. They were in the playoffs last year. They lost to Brentford in the semi-final, so they'll be desperate to get to at least the final this time. I don't know what I can see happening here. I think I'm going to just back Barnsley. They've obviously got the home advantage, but I'm going to say Swansea will still be in it going into the second leg. I'm going to go for Barnsley 1, Swansea 0.
Yeah, I think Barnsley have had an amazing season. I'd say they're probably slightly overachieved. No one really expected them to be, in the playoffs. I don't think many people really expect them to be top half of the table, to be honest. But I am going to go for them to falter in the playoffs. Ooh. I don't think they're going to get anything from either of the games. I'm going to go for a Swansea win, and it's going to be 2-1. 2-1 Swansea. Well, that'll upset the Barnsley fans. Let us know your predictions down below. We'll move on to League 1. We have the first leg of Oxford versus Blackpool. Now, Oxford United, they snuck into the playoffs. They finished 6th. They made it on the final day as Portsmouth fell out of the playoffs. Now, remember, Oxford United, they got to the playoff final last year. They lost to Wycombe, so will it be second time lucky for them? They're up against Blackpool, who obviously finished 3rd, ended the season pretty strong. I think they won their last 4 games. This is going to be tough. This is going to be a really hard one to predict. They'll both be coming into this with a bit of positivity. Obviously, Oxford have just snuck into the playoffs. Blackpool have ended the season pretty strong. I'm going to back Blackpool. I'm going to go for a couple of goals in this game. Oxford United 1, Blackpool 2, George. Yeah, I'd say Blackpool, realistically, they're probably the favourites to win the playoffs. They're in absolutely amazing form. I think they've won 5 out of the last 6 or whatever. And yeah, rightly so, they've finished 3rd. Yeah, I think they're too strong for Oxford at the moment, to be honest. And I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Blackpool. 3-0
to Blackpool, yeah. Wow, and it'd almost kill that tie, wouldn't it? We then move on to Wednesday when Lincoln City play Sunderland. Now, Sunderland obviously have been in the playoffs before. They finished in the playoffs in their first season in League 1. They lost in the playoff final to Charlton. What a crazy game that was. They obviously went 1-0 up and lost 2-1 in stoppage time. Now, last year Sunderland finished 8th, so they finished just outside the playoffs. And now they're in the playoffs. They're playing Lincoln City. As for Sunderland's season, it's been a bit of a hit and miss. They've had the opportunity to get into the top 2 but didn't make it. But to still finish in the top 6, their fans will feel a little bit optimistic that they can do it this time. Obviously, they've got Johnson as the manager. But Lincoln City, they could be an obstacle. Now, Lincoln City, their season's been pretty strong. They started pretty well, and they'll be still pretty happy to finish in the playoffs. Very, very tough to predict this. I'm going to say there'll be nothing between them. Lincoln 1, Sunderland 1.
Again, I did predict one of these teams to win the playoffs at the start of the season, and that was Sunderland. So I still think that's going to happen. You know, given the fact that they're going to be allowed some fans back at the games, I do believe.
Yeah.
And that's going to make a big impact. Sunderland, you know, let's be honest, they are a big club. Jokes aside, and in all honesty, they probably deserve to be back in the Championship now. You know, they've had 3 seasons in League One, and you know, the fans need something to shout about. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a. Is this at home or away for Sunderland?
It's at Lincoln.
It's at Lincoln. Okay, so I'm going to go for a 0-0.
A 0-0.
And then Sunderland will take them back to the Stadium of Light and probably beat them 3 or 4-0.
But we'll save that for the second leg predictions,
we will,
George.
We will.
Right, we'll move down to League 2 next, guys, where we're looking at teams trying to sneak into League 1. We've got Newport versus Forest Green. Now, obviously, we played these two when Coventry were in League 2. Both teams have had pretty decent seasons. They both finished on 73 points. They both had the same points tally. They both had 20 wins, both had 13 draws, and both had 13 defeats. So, you really can't separate these two. As for what I think is going to happen, I really don't think there's a lot between these two, you know, George.
No. I'm
just going to back Newport. I think both teams obviously have got a very good chance of sneaking into League 1. I'm going to go for Newport to win this game 1-0.
I'm guessing it's at Newport then.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, more often than not, the first leg ends in a draw if the teams are quite evenly matched.
Yeah.
So I am going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for 2-2.
2-2. Interesting. Yeah. And then the last game in the League 2 playoffs is, well, the first leg anyway, is Tranmere versus Morecambe, guys. Now, Tranmere obviously got relegated last year. It was very frustrating for their fans because they got relegated via the points per game thing, and they might have stayed up if the season was finished. It was very tight between them and Wimbledon. Now, they have finished in the playoffs. They're going to try and bounce back at the first attempt. They're going up against Morecambe, and I've got to say, I didn't predict Morecambe to be in the playoffs at the start of the season. They ended the season 4th, which is absolutely fantastic for Morecambe. When you think, when we were in League 2 against them, they only just stayed up.
Yeah.
They finished the season just above the relegation zone, playing out a 0-0 against Coventry. Tranmere versus Morecambe. What am I saying, guys? I want these games to be interesting and go into the second leg with still a lot to play for. So I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for Tranmere 2, Morecambe 2.
Yeah, if I had to decide a winner of the playoffs, I probably would say Tranmere. I'd say they're probably the biggest club going into it, but anything can happen in the playoffs. It doesn't really matter where you finish. It's all about who turns up in the few games. Is it at Tranmere?
It's at Tranmere.
Okay, so I'm going to go for a Tranmere 1-0 win.
A Tranmere 1-0 win? Yeah. Wow, yeah, that would be interesting. That's it, guys. That's our predictions for the first legs. Let me know your predictions down below. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? I mean, obviously, these are just the first legs. We've got the second legs coming not long after that. And we're going to be doing live streams for them. Obviously, we'll try and do some of the League 1 and League 2 games as well. We'll try and do a bit of content for them. But guys, if you're new to the channel, once again, if you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
See you guys.